Hello everybody, my name is Silly Squirtle, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single new weapon and item in Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 2. Of course, with the new season comes a bunch of new gizmos and gadgets to play around with, and I have been playing the absolute shit out of the season, guys. You guys do not understand. I think I have like 20 hours on it already. But as always, there's obviously going to be some stuff that I don't like about the season, which I'm going to be talking about today. If you guys would like to see more ranking videos, of course, please give a like and subscribe. And as always, all of my ranking videos are inspired by Thai Fries, and I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. Before we do get into the rankings, I should preface that I am a zero build player. I just don't like playing builds, and a lot of my rankings might be a bit biased. It might seem a bit unfair because I am a zero build player. If you're a build player and you think I ranked something a bit too high or a bit too low that you like, then that's fine. Everyone can have their opinions. I'm just making this video because I want to share mine. With all that out of the way, let's get into the rankings. Now, coming in our last place spot is going to be a bit of a weird one. It's going to be every single boon. Now, I didn't know whether to put all of the boons in one tier or just rank them all separately, but I do feel like they all play somewhat similar, so I decided to put them all in one tier. Now, the boons this season I do feel are a bit worse than the last seasons. I feel like they all overlap with one another, so I'll just go over each of them now. There's the Vulture boon, which marks people when they're eliminated, the Gold Rush boon, which gives you the Gold Rush when opening chests, the Adrenaline Rush boon, which gives you a slap effect when mantling, Ammo boon, which gives you ammo from bars, and the Greed boon just gives you bars from elimination. You could definitely see why I chose these to be at the bottom of the list. Most people are definitely not going out of their way to get these. And then the little underground area where you could get these boons, they cost a single dilbit. I mean, come on, are you gonna waste a coin on a boon or a mythic shotgun? It's pretty clear that they're not that good. I could see the Vulture boon being somewhat useful in certain situations, but every other one I definitely pass on. Coming in at number 16 is going to be the Thermite item. This might be somewhat of a controversial pick, but you know, I'm gonna hold my ground. The Thermite is used for activating pretty much every sort of vault. The train, the different POIs, and the vans all around the map. They all require Thermite to start. But other than that, I would definitely not pick this thing up. Offensively, it sort of acts like a Firefly jar from Chapter 2 if you remember that, but it's just a whole lot worse. Hitting someone on impact does 15 damage, but the fire spread is so little, it is so easy to combat. Just literally moving at 10 feet just puts you out of range. It is so slow. And the damage per tick is only 3, and that's definitely one of the worst throwable items this season. And above that, we have the Plasma Burst Scanner, the first actual weapon on this list. Now we're getting into stuff that I definitely do see people using. Honestly, for me, it's a pretty similar situation with Thermite. You can use it to aid yourself in vaults. If you hit the little orange thing, it actually goes by way quicker. But once again, I definitely do not see myself using this against other players. It is definitely better than Thermite. It can laser people and does 13 to 15 damage a shot, but it also kind of reminds me from the ray gun from Chapter 2 Season 7. It's a pretty situational weapon. I could see it being useful in combat sometimes, but even if you are able to get someone out in the open, I would rather use something like the new Combat AR or a Hollow Twister. The gun for me just feels a bit too clunky, but I definitely do see people using it sometimes. Number 14 is going to be the Pulse Scanner, just another item that I don't see much use in using. I was debating whether to put this below or above the Plasma, but I do see it being extremely practical in some cases. In concept, it's actually pretty good. You place it down and you're able to scan everything in the area, chests, other players, bosses, but I don't think this is inherently that useful. Maybe if you're able to pick it up afterwards and move it, I feel like it would be a lot better, but to my knowledge, you can only throw it once. Another problem I see is that it doesn't really scan that much. It only scans maybe about 15 to 20 meters in every direction, but not more than that. Not to say it's entirely bad though, recon weapons are incredibly powerful. Whenever I go to a boss POI, I see people using this to make sure no one's sneaking up on them, which is definitely smart. I just wish we got something like a reworked recon scanner. Number 13 is going to be another weird one. I'm gonna put the Unstoppable Medallion, and yes, both medallions will be on this list, but I do think this is the worst of the two. This medallion just feels like a worse Nitro. All you really get is an increased sprint speed, and you are able to knock people away if you sprint into them. You don't even get the brand new Gold Rush effect, which I thought was this medallion's perk, but even after some investigating, that's not the case. And this comes from the new Wolf boss, which spawns randomly at one of the vaults. I could see this being dropped by a lot of people because you're exposing yourself on the map just for a faster speed. And while I think the medallion definitely isn't that good, his gun is going to be much higher on the list. Coming up next is the Portacover. I honestly wanted to put this one higher, but honestly, I just didn't know exactly where else to put it. The Portacover is as self-explanatory as it gets. You just throw it down and get cover. It's similar to the Cow Catcher back in Chapter 3. If you don't remember that, it basically worked the same. I do think it's one of the better cover items for zero build, but you're still completely exposed on your back and maybe your sides. I just think if you're in zero build that the shield bubble and Porta Bunker do a way better job at giving you cover, but I could totally see an argument on how this could be at least a couple spots higher. here. At number 11, this really isn't a gun or an item per se, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the train on here. It's a rebranded version of the train from chapter 5 in last season, and I think it's miles better now than what it was before. The reason I'm putting it this low is because every time you drop there, there's definitely gonna be at least a couple people coming here, and if you don't get some good guns off spawn, then most of the time you're gonna die. But for good reason. If you manage to break into the train, you'll get more loot than I think most of the vaults on this map, and I think that definitely makes it worth the risk, as well as 2 extra drill bits. But actually breaking into the train is just extremely tedious and difficult, mostly because of the turrets. I really don't like those types of turrets in Fortnite. They have like what, 700, 800 health? I'd rather fight some extra NPCs, thank you. Alrighty, breaking in our top 10 is going to be the Falcon Eye Sniper. As someone who really likes the snipers in this game, this feels extremely underwhelming and underpowered. Like for one, it doesn't even one-shot headshot. I mean, at least until legendary rarity, but even so, it still does like 85 to 90 body damage, which in terms of snipers isn't really a lot. I think after the Reaper sniper in chapter 5, they wanted to just tone it down a little bit and make this not as good. Though I can definitely see this being viable in some situations, like if you're playing builds, literally headshot one-shots, but it also has that problem of having the really horrible chapter 5 bullet drop. You know, the bullet drop that they added to the hunting rifle, that made it absolutely horrible. And considering how each other gun this chapter switched back to hit scan, it would have been nice to have the classic sniper bullet drop return as well, but you know, it's not my game. And at number 9 is going to be the Super Shield Medallion, which is the other medallion on this list. You get this medallion from the boss that's on the island. I actually don't know what he's called. It says Shogun X, but that's definitely not Shogun X. He died last season. This medallion basically just gives you a shield bubble every time you heal, which honestly is not that bad of an idea. And it's pretty much the same fight as last season, honestly. I'd still definitely not go for this as a solo, but if you're in duos or squads, the Hollow Twister and the Shield Medallion is a pretty nice combo, and the shield bubble is bigger than the Shield Bubble Jr., which I also appreciate a ton. But it also falls into that problem that if you're in build mode, this medallion is literally useless. You could build your own cover anyways, but in zero build, I could definitely see this being at least some sort of meta. I mean, any type of cover in that mode is greatly appreciated, but at that point, why not just use a porta cover or a porta bunker or even the fucking Shield Juniors? Coming in at number 8 is gonna be the Dill Bit. The Dill Bit is kind of a weird one. It's basically just new currency, that's all it is, so I really can't say too much about this since it doesn't do much. You get these from the vaults every time you open one, and what you're supposed to do is to go to these black market, yes, that's really what they're called, locations, and you're basically able to buy mythics with them, good items, but that's really about it, so I can't put this any higher. You're really only able to buy one thing at a time, so if someone else takes it before you, then tough luck, I guess. Number 7 is going to be the Gold Splash effect. Look, I know this season's relatively new and not everyone has had the chance to play with this yet, but trust me, I love the Gold Rush effect. It's like a regular Chug Splash. You throw it down, get 20 health or shield, but this one actually gives you an effect that not only gives you a faster running speed, it gives you an increased pickaxe speed, and it does more damage not only to builds, but to other players as well. And it feels somewhat balanced. Like, it's good, but it's definitely not to the point of being overpowered. And the Gold Splash is a good way of getting it, seeing that it spawns all over the map, gives you 20 health and shield. My only complaint about this is that I think there's a lot of better healing items. You're only taking this for the Chug Splash effect. And coming in at number 6 is going to be the Collateral Damage Assault Rifle. It's another new gun in the season, and in all honesty, I think this is actually an okay weapon. It's a good one for what it is, and I mean, the mythic version I think is really good. I mean, I haven't really used it that much, but from what the gameplay shows, I think it's one of the better ARs of this chapter. But with all guns, there's obviously going to be some flaws. I do think spraying this weapon is a pretty high risk, high reward kind of thing, because you're obviously not going to hit every shot. I mean, look at that bullet spread. It feels like a better combat AR, I guess. If you get this thing off spawn, you're not completely screwed, but at the same time, the Hollow Twister AR is definitely what most people are going to pick in most games. And the combat AR is horrible medium to long range, and I think the Hollow Twister kind of just fits that better, as well as the Hollow Twister being way more accurate. But if it's your only option, it's a good pick. Number 5 is going to be the Medmist Smoke Grenade. This item also doesn't do much, so I might not get too in-depth with it, but it's another healing item on the list, and I think this one is actually extremely underappreciated. It actually heals 5 to 10 HP a second. I mean, get in a little corner, use this, and you're good to go in about 10 seconds. This thing is easily top 10 healing items of all time, and I do like that the smoke actually also creates kind of like a shield, so you're actually pretty hard to hit. At the same time, this also does mean that you can't really see or hit other people, but you know, whatever. I like it. Coming in at number 4 are the Sub-Zero Claws. They're the collab item of the season, and I feel like I might get some hate for putting this too low, but that doesn't mean I don't like this item. I feel like the claw weapons in Fortnite have a reputation for being some of the best melee items. I mean, we have Black Panther's claws, the Nitro Fists, well, I guess they aren't claws, but now this thing. When it first dropped, this thing is absolutely crazy. The mobility was insane. Being able to slash people was pretty cool, and they did actually nerf this recently, so that's why it's a bit lower on the list. Another feature I haven't really seen anyone talk about is how you're able to run on water and still slide and everything with this thing. And my only complaint with this thing is that I think the durability needs to be buffed ASAP. I mean, I'm using this thing twice and I'm already like halfway through durability. Number 3 is going to be the new Chug Jug. Now, this might be cheating since this necessarily isn't a new item, but god, I love the new Chug Jug. I mean, talk about a glow up. This thing turned from one of the worst healing items to one of the best in just a single season. I think this is really on par as one of the best healing items outside of the legendary Slurp Juice and the mythic ice cream. Now, what they changed about this Chug Jug is that instead of healing all at once over 15 seconds, you're now able to passively heal over 200 health, and once you're done, you could literally just take it and save the rest for later. I think they changed this because honestly, come on, who the fuck's taking the old Chug Jug over this? And in addition to that, it heals you way faster. I mean, I'm getting from 5 HP to full health and shield in like 10 seconds, guys. Come on, please, take this if you can. Coming in at number 2 is going to be the Mythic Mammoth Pistol. Now, I think you could interchange the number 2 and number 1 spots, but I honestly am putting this here because I really like the number 1 spot. Now, the Mammoth Pistol is already one of the most infamous modern Fortnite guns. I mean, ask anyone nowadays what their top 5 favorite guns are, and I guarantee you the Mammoth Pistol is going to be up there somewhere. It's up there with the Pump Shotgun and even the Scar, honestly. And to see it get a mythic variant mix, this thing is overpowered as you could get, really. I'm talking 100 plus damage for a body shot up close, and even from far away are still doing 80 to 90 damage. I mean, I'm already seeing people not even going for the medallion and just the mythic mammoth, and I really can't blame them here. I haven't even mentioned the fact that this is a 2-shot weapon. Yes, that's right, you can hold 2 bullets at a time. This thing is on par, or dare I say even better than most snipers, but it's definitely not my favorite gun from the season. That award will definitely have to go to number 1, the Kneecapper. Honestly, who is surprised that I put this at the number 1 spot? I mean, it's extremely obvious that the Kneecapper is the best Fortnite weapon this season. Even in builds, I'm seeing people take advantage of his massive mobility. But in zero build, it seems like you cannot win without one. And yes, I do feel that it is annoying sometimes when people are constantly spamming this thing, but I think it's outweighed by just how much fun it is. I am constantly hitting people and knocking them extremely far away. Maybe switch to a gun and hit him out the air. Like, this is a weapon I'm excited to see when it drops on the ground. I think what makes this weapon so great is not only do you get a 30% increase in running speed, but you're also able to charge up the bat and then run at people with this increased speed, and they can do practically nothing about it. When you see someone else with this bat, it's pretty much game over. And yes, that is it, guys. That will be my ranking of every single new weapon and item in this season of Fortnite. If you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I'm really sorry if I sound sick. I kind of was halfway through the video, so if I didn't sound as enthusiastic, I'm sorry, but it's whatever, it's life. And guys, remember, I will try to be streaming more on this channel, so if you guys want to drop in, say hi, then please feel free to do so. I would really appreciate it. Then yeah, that's the end of the video. See you guys next time. Squirtle on!